This is the first episode of a new podcast series that I'm tentatively calling Living Indie Grind, pun intended. In this episode, I have an awesome conversation with Tauheed Game Dev. We talk about everything from being small YouTubers trying to grow our channels to making time in our personal lives for game development. Timestamps for general topics in the description. Let's go! How do you do? It's Mr. Moo. How you doing? Today is a little different. I'm going to be doing a kind of new podcast interview thing. We're going to see how it goes. And I got a very special guest, none other than the legendary Tauheed. We're discussing how to pronounce his name. Why don't you say it for the audience so we can all learn how to say it?
Hey, my name's Tauheed. How's it going?
Cool. Yeah. So I've been following you for a couple months now. Really like your content, and I figured that in this video we can talk about some of the things and the challenges and the lifestyles of game devs like us. So do you want to kind of give yourself an intro? Maybe tell us about the project that you're working on.
Cool. Yeah. So I run a channel called Tauheed Game Dev YouTube channel. I also run a Twitch channel. Project I'm working on at the moment is base defense. It's like it's a tower defense game similar to Plants vs Zombies, with a unique-ish type cartoony art style. So yeah, been working on that mainly.
Do you make all the art yourself?
Not all of the art on the game from the game is my own. Majority of it's made by me, but the characters, so the defender characters, unit characters, anything that has a face, I haven't made in that game. But anything that hasn't, like the background, the bombs, the sandbags, the sign, all of that I made. The crates, all of that I've made. But the actual people in the game, I haven't made those. I downloaded them from OpenGameArt.
Gotcha.
And from there, I've sort of implemented the art style that were the characters into the game. I do need to redo the characters at some point, but I'm not very good at art. And obviously through the interview, you'll learn that art is not my, my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of game devs have a similar type of experience where, they want to make games and then they realize that, oh, I have to do all these other things, art, music, sound effects, whatever. And so how long have you been working on this game?
I started it in August last year, so what, around 8 months now? I mean, not really. I did take like a 2 months break. I got a little bit burnt out.
Yeah.
For a bit. So I did take 2 whole months away from the project, but I'm back on it now. So I would like to say 6 months just working on it solidly so far.
And like when you're working on it, how often are you working on it during that time?
What, say like daily?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to work on my games as much as I can daily, obviously in my own free time. So if I can do an hour, maybe 2 hours a day, if possible. Obviously, sometimes like you'll start something and you'll get in the zone and you'll be like, oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning now, right? So if that happens, then I might take a day, maybe a couple of days off after that. Because obviously, if I spend too long on it, then I've run into the risk of spending too much time on it and getting burnt out with it and all the rest of it. Because I'm almost at the end of the demo. Like I have a demo of the game that I'm going to be releasing pretty soon. So I'm right at the end. So at the moment, it's all like bug fixes and tweaking little settings. I'm not like adding anything new. Like when you start a game and when you add stuff, it's like exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like you're adding stuff and you're changing this and, all sorts and like you're excited because you're adding stuff. But
Right.
now at the end, it's like bug fixes and tweaking these settings and there's another bug here and it's a bit
Yeah, it's like the stuff that you probably knew that you should have been working on like for a long time, and you just like
but you just leave it till the end, and then when the end comes, then that's the issue. But yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
Yeah. There's like a saying that's like the last 20% of a project is really the last 80% of the project or something like that. But yeah, that's cool. So, but you are working on it daily, or you try to?
I try to work on it daily. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a win by itself, right? That's an accomplishment because I think a lot of people, that's like one of their biggest problems is not being able to find the energy to work on it every day. But
Yeah.
that's cool that you're able to find that. Now, how does that like interfere with, like, do you have other hobbies that this like starts to interfere with, or maybe personal life? And like, that's the struggle that I find, is that, yeah, I'm also working my game every day,
Yeah.
and putting a lot of hours in after like a full day's work. But then it's like, oh, yeah, it is pretty late now, and I forgot to see people today. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I have similar issue where I have to balance. Like, obviously, I work, right? I do have a full-time job, so I'm not working on game dev full time. So whatever free time I have away from work and away from, I'm married and I have kids as well, responsibilities, all the rest of that. So whatever free time I have, I try to put back into game development or development of base defense, or whatever project I'm working on at that time. So yeah, I do try to balance as much as I can. I mean, I do know a little bit about forming habits and becoming regular in something. So obviously, when the COVID situation started and the lockdown happened, I had an opportunity because I had a lot more free time compared to when I was actually physically going to work. Once I got sent home and started working from home, I got back maybe 3 hours because there was no more commute. So I decided the 3 hours I have daily, I'm not going to waste them. I mean, initially, right, I play games, right? I make games, I play games, right? Initially, the first 2, maybe 3 months of lockdown, I played a bunch of games, right? But then I decided, you know what? If I want to make my own game, if I want to, change my job, if I want to go into this industry, I need to pursue it myself, right?
mhm.
So I started doing it daily. The 3 hours I had spare, which shouldn't affect my family life, shouldn't affect my work life, right? But I had that extra 3 hours, and I put those 3 hours into game development, and then obviously over time it has increased, but that's how I started it. I tried to form habits so that it wouldn't be as hard to start making. It would be hard for me to now start making excuses.
Yeah,
Whereas before, it's like the gym, right? It's
yeah,
like you know when you start going to the gym, it's hard because you don't have the habit. It's irregular. It's not a part of your normal routine. But then as you get more used to it, it's like, oh, okay, I need to go now, and you just go, and there's no effort.
yeah,
So that's what I learned, and that's what I try to do.
yeah. I feel very similar. I think that there must be a really big increase in hours spent on game dev since the pandemic hit, for all these
Definitely.
people that were thinking about it. And so when the pandemic hit, was this your first introduction to game dev?
No, I think my first introduction was maybe 8 odd years ago.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah, so a while ago. I think this was like just after the App Store got introduced. I mean, it might have even been longer than 8 years ago. I can't remember. But like then I got some books and learned Objective C and how to program, on a Mac to build apps and stuff, right?
gotcha.
Didn't get very far. Didn't get very far, but that's what I knew I wanted to do that because I saw an opportunity in making mobile apps. Whereas prior to that, it was like if you want to make video games, you either need to be within the industry and know someone, or you need to buy like a dev kit
Right.
for like whatever the console was at the time, PS2 or whatever, and then you can start working on it. But then you need to learn C++, and then you need to, it was a lot harder to start making games
Yeah.
like back in them days. But then the App Store was like an opportunity for everyone to get involved. So I started learning that. I think after that, maybe 4 or 5 years after that, Unity came out, and then I started learning Unity. I mean,
Mm.
again, I didn't get very far because work and family and all of that, right?
Hmm.
So I tried to find some free time to learn. I learned little bits and pieces, obviously not as much as I know now, or I didn't even make any games that I released, 5 odd years ago. But
Yeah.
that was my first introduction to it. But I think it's not this year, last year, 2020, when the pandemic hit, and you know, I had a little bit of free time. That's when I decided, now is if I need to pursue, if I want to pursue it, now's the time, basically. So
Right.
I decided to myself, now is the time. But it's not like I had zero experience and I just started last year. I did do some prior.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a similar experience where I had taken a stab at Unity a couple years before. Uh, I guess. I really got into it. Like my first introduction to Unity was probably like 2018, and then 2019 I said, okay, like I want to start making this game, and it's actually the same game that I've been working on ever since. But in between, I had made smaller games, and then when the pandemic hit, is when I really kicked it up. It was like before I was working on, you know, probably like a couple hours a week, and then pandemic, and then I had a similar mentality as you, where I said,
Yeah.
if this is something that I want to really get into, this is the time, and all the no more excuses type of thing. So yeah, it's cool to see that other people are experiencing the same thing that you are, and so maybe some of the people out there are also the few subscribers that I have will
Yeah.
will also feel the same way. So base defense,
Probably.
uh, you what is your vision with this game? So where do you plan on releasing it and all that?
I think I want initially it was going to be a mobile game. It's still going to be a mobile game because there is no like external controls. Everything is
Hmm.
touch or mouse click. So it is made for mobile. That's why all of the characters and the units and everything is so big in the game as well, because it's not meant for PC. It's meant for mobile. I think because the first couple of games I made were like specifically for PC, even Retro Shooter, which I released like before, like that was my first game that came out on itch. That was specifically for PC. But then I like a couple of guys from work and some family members that were like, "Oh, we want to play your games, but we don't have a PC. How do we play them?" I was like, "All right, well, I'll make a mobile game." So then at least the people that want to at least try my games, they can try one of my games, and then if they decide at one point, "Oh, okay, yeah, let me play a PC game, let me get a PC," or whenever they get a PC, then they can try it out. But for now, at least I have something that they can play. So
Yeah.
that was the mentality I had going into this game.
Yeah, that's funny because I've been trying to. I don't play a lot of mobile games, and so that's
Yeah.
not really something I want to get into too much. But at the same time, I've also experienced this where people want to play. People in my personal life, they want to play my games, but I just have no avenue for them. So now when I do game jams and stuff like that, I do like the browser games and things like that, and also I've forced my mom, who has never played a game in her life, to download Steam and get it. I worked with her to get it on her computer and all of that. So yeah, yeah, that's definitely a struggle, and actually it kind of makes me think of this other issue that or not really an issue, but something that I've experienced, which is like the people in my personal life, they know I make games, they know I'm really passionate about it, right? All my friends and family, but they don't do it themselves. Well, I've kind of gotten my brothers who and my brothers who code for a living, and that's what I do also.
Yeah.
And my sister does art, so we've done a couple of game jams. I've kind of forced them into that, but besides that, other people are not really involved. So for the first time that I've had hobbies, this is like the first hobby that I've ever had that most of the people that I actually know, that I'm starting to get to know, are online through exclusively through the internet.
Yeah, so same here, exactly the same here. Like all of my family and friends, they play games, right? But they're not involved in any aspect of game development, the art side, the coding side, other than maybe the playtesting side, they're not really involved in that. I think a couple of times years ago, I tried to get like four close friends. I tried for all of us to try and build a game to release on the App Store. It didn't work, obviously. I continued with the project, and these guys, like one by one, they just like dropped off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
So
think this is not something for the faint of heart. It's
I think you need to have a passion for like developing games to be able to, maintain developing games. If it's like, yeah, you know what, it's a good idea, let's do it. It's not really gonna work.
yeah,
But,
yeah. So you mentioned a few times that you play a lot of games. What kind of games do you like to play?
mainly, I play like adventure RPGs, like
Mm.
MMOs and adventure RPG games, like Final Fantasies. Like I spoke like when lockdown started, the first 2 months I just played games. Literally, I played Final Fantasy VII, completed 100%, the remake, the new one, and God of War and Dragon Quest.
Mm.
So they're the type of games that I enjoy. They're the genre of game that I play. I would really like to make, but I know how like hard it will be to build a multiplayer game that's open world and an RPG, and I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And it's like the vision's so big, but then the resources are not. There's nothing there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
because I was gonna say, your the base defense is very different from that. So do you see yourself kind of like the next project that you're gonna get into being something a step closer?
I hope so. I do hope so. I mean, I also play RTS games, so like Command and Conquer. Have you heard of Command and Conquer?
No.
No. Or it's like, have you heard of StarCraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like StarCraft, right?
Mm.
You build tanks and units and stuff, and you kill each other. But I only play that against like a few friends, but we do that quite regularly. So like competitively, I play that, but then like casually, I'll play like the RPGs.
Mm.
So I think the next game I want to try and make will be like an army RTS game with tanks and people and whatever. I'm not currently, I'm not at the level where I can just decide, oh, you know what, I want to make this MMORPG and get invested for the next 10 years and I don't have the knowledge, right? I'm still
Hmm.
learning.
Yeah.
Like I've made what, 5 games? No. Yeah, 5 games. But each one has been like a learning experience for me. I
Right.
would learn something new with each game I make, even with like each time I try to make a game in a game jam, whether I'm successful or not, I will always try to learn something. Time might be limited, but you know what? Even if I don't release the game, as long as I learn something, it's not a wasted experience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I try to do each time, just so I can gain more knowledge and then get closer to my dream of making the dream game. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my plan.
Have you ventured into the world of 3D yet?
No, that
Yeah.
was my next step. I'm currently having a few issues with Unity, so I was looking into other, you know, engines. So like Unreal, especially for 3D, I was looking into Unreal to see how I could learn Unreal, for specifically the 3D open world MMORPG that I want to play. Not necessarily make games in it, but at least start the learning process.
Yeah.
So I'll still like continue with Unity. I'll still build like 2D games in Unity, but then on the side, obviously, how much free time I have will depend. But I will need to. I'll start learning Unreal on the side while doing game dev, while doing everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just chucking like more on my plate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think yeah, that is the eternal struggle because I'm kind of in a similar situation, right? Where well, one, I'm working on this massive project that is going to take me still a lot longer to finish.
Yeah.
But then, I already have, a laundry list of other games I want to work on, and many of them are 3D. So, and I have taken a crack at Blender, and it has like removed a little bit of the scariness of it all, because now I understand it more, and it's really not as bad as I was expecting. But yeah, like Unreal, I'm really into multiplayer games.
Yeah.
So Unreal is also, I think, really good for networking. I've done some networking games for Unity already, and they're okay, but I know that Unreal is supposed to be better for that. So yeah, I think it's this eternal battle of going uphill, of constantly needing to be technically better than you are to be able to complete the vision that you set out for yourself. So what is your vision? What is your vision for the next, I don't know, like 5 years from now? What are you hoping that your games are going to look like?
I want to get into 3D. Definitely get into 3D. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the 2D games that I make. They're not complicated, but I'm pretty happy with them. There's not a lot I can really do to make them look like better, like post processing and all of the normal stuff I can do. But 3D is where I really want to get involved, learn about textures and making things look nice, and how to adapt my own, because like my games have a specific sort of art style. So how I can adapt that art style to 3D and make the games look the way I want them to look. So I think in 5 years, learning 3D, whether it be in Unity or whatever engine, and then starting to build the game that I want to build, the big open world. I mean, I don't have to build the whole game and then, check it. I can just like build the first town and then have the infrastructure set up so that people can play the first town. And then I can patch through an update, and then they can play, oh, there's an extra dungeon, let's go play that. So the community will start building as soon as the first town area is made, and then expand from there. And then hopefully I can get some more people involved in it, and like someone can take over the art side, because like that's one area that I do struggle with. But yeah, so that's my plan. I mean, I do want to like make a living off making games. I mean, currently I'm not in the industry, whether it be game development or coding or any of that, right? I'm completely separate. I'm a data analyst. So I work with graphs and numbers and formulas. I don't work with code. So I want to try and move towards game development, earn some money from game development. Obviously, my situation is different to a lot of the people that may watch this video, whereas I'm pretty old, right? And I already have a house and wife and kids and like massive overheads that I have to factor in if I want to like take a risk and go out there and try to pursue game development full time. Because unless my overheads are covered, I won't have a choice but to stay part time or to stay as a hobbyist until I get an opportunity to move out there with enough income to support my family, and then to go into game development full time. Yeah.
Have you thought about like jumping in the water with some publishers or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have no experience. And any like podcast I listen to, they're like, yeah, some of them are like, publishers are okay, and then some of them are like, yeah, don't touch them. Like I get like mixed, like, okay, should I mean, firstly, I don't have a product that is suitable enough to show to publishers. But if I did have, it'd be like, okay, so what are the risks?
Yeah.
Should I pursue it? Should I not pursue it? What cut will they take? Should I just do it myself? How much marketing will I be able to do myself? How much marketing will they be able to do for me? So it's like pros and cons to everything. But I think if I get to a situation where my game is polished enough that publishers will actually look at it, then I can do more research and decide. But I'm not against the idea of going to publishers. I'm not like on a crusade to do everything myself and publish it and market it and do everything myself. I know it's not possible to do that. Or if you do that by yourself, you're limiting your scope, or not your scope, you're limiting your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking.
So unless,
Yeah.
sorry, go on.
No. I was about to pivot, so I want you to finish your thought.
Yeah. So I was saying, unless you have a plan, like I'm only gonna pursue this specific area or this specific niche of people, then you can do it. But if you want to expand and if you want to go to like a larger community of people, then I think professional help is needed.
Yeah, I think regardless if you do publisher, you should at least do hire someone for marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So that's currently my plan for my current game, and maybe in the future. Everything that you're saying is really stuff that is already like floating around in my brain. That's like I'm afraid to go to a publisher because one, the deadlines will become real, right? And there's gonna be external pressure, and plus you probably can't unless you're making something very small in scope. I think the implication would be that you're doing it full time, and not having a full time job and then doing game dev on the side. Anyway,
Yeah.
but so one thing I want to talk about is YouTube, and I was gonna you had mentioned an audience, right, and increasing your audience. So how did you get into YouTube?
Yeah, that's the main reason to grow my audience. So the first game I made, retro shooter, I I put it on simmer.io actually, right? And no one played it. Yeah. So I wanted to make the game. My kids loved it, right? They played it. Maybe a couple of guys at work, I got them to play it. And they enjoyed it, but they played it. But then everyone else out there, they didn't look at it. And it got showcased as well on the YouTube channel for simmer.io. And still no one played it. And I was like, what's the point in making games if people are not going to play it?
Yeah.
So then I was looking and I was like, okay, you know what? It's good to have a YouTube channel because you can put yourself out there and people can see your games and they can see the development of your games. And then people will come and play. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should do it. I mean, I'm not the most outgoing person. I'm a very introverted person, right? But I thought, you know what? If I want to pursue something, I need to do it myself. I need to basically I need to get myself I need to get out of my comfort zone, right? I need to do something that I'm not comfortable with if I want to get the growth that I envision, right? So pushed out started my YouTube channel in August last year, pushed out some videos, didn't really get much traction until I think October. I think in October I took part in my first game jam, Ludum Dare 47 game jam.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where everyone noticed. Because I got a reasonable rating. I wouldn't say it's outstanding, right? But I got it was reasonable. It was at least in the top 40%. So it wasn't like outstanding, right? But it was my first jam. And it was in the first 40%. So and the humor was like in the top 5%. So I think that's what really stood out because the writing was really good and it was very funny and the references were pretty good. And I think from there, people started visiting my YouTube channel and they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I really like your game. I really like the sense of humor you've put in the game. And I was like, okay, so up until this point, all of my videos have just been like, very monotone, no like variation, very straightforward. This is my game. There's no humor in there. There's no added, personality in any of my videos. Why don't I do that? Why don't I add what I put into the game into my videos, and maybe more people will come? So that's what I started doing.
Yeah, I was about to say I think that's probably the strength, the one of the greatest strengths of your channel is that it's pretty funny. And that is something that is really difficult to achieve from making my own videos, is that like your videos are funny and they're written into the script. Any sort of jokes or gags I have in my videos, they're like done after the fact and they're part of the editing. and it's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw in something, but you've hit this note where it's you're saying things that are technical, but or describing things that are in your game, but you're also making like funny jokes that are in the script of your video, and you
Yeah.
also have my favorite video of yours. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
Is it the rap video?
No, yes, it is the rap video. Yeah,
Is it the rap video?
yeah. That's my favorite one because that one is is a masterpiece in my opinion. Because you also it's like a video that is not even it's not like a devlog or something like that. It's like a video it's like old school YouTube of
Yeah.
of making some silly music video, but it's like relatable because it's exactly what everyone that's watching it is going through. So
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely big props, and I think that's why you're seeing people subscribing and things like that to your videos. So I don't know. Have you found some sort of methodology to writing your scripts that are different?
Not really. I mean, before I just used to write what I did in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now I try to write a script like how I would speak to like a friend or to like a family member, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than being very formal, like at the moment, you know, I'm being formal, but I will try to add a bit more personality to it, add a bit more, add some references, some jokes, some humor.
Yeah.
Just add a bit more humor to the video. Some people will understand, some people won't understand, but then other people will understand. And I just try to inject my own personality as much as I can into the videos. And if people like it, they like it. If people don't like it, they don't like it. But for me, to make life easier for myself, I try to be as genuine as I can in the videos. I try not to be a personality or something that's completely separate to what I'm actually like. But because I am introvert, I'm very reluctant to put too much of myself in the videos because like it's like anything, right? Rejection is hard, right? If people watch the video and they're like, you know what, I don't like this, and I put like 100% of my personality in there, they're like, ooh, okay, you know what, you did delete the channel right now.
Yeah, because it feels like then that person just doesn't like you, right? Like,
Yeah. So I try to keep it a balance. I'm not very good with the balance, to be honest, but I try to keep it as balanced as I can, just so the information is there. Like the people that want to come to look at the games and what I'm doing or how I do it is there. But then the people that just want to come and hang out and just watch me be me can also come and just do stuff.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely it's really hard to be genuine on camera, especially. I mean, I'm starting to feel it get a little easier the more I do it, but it's also I still find myself trying to be this personality that's not kind of one of these like, what's up guys, how you doing, whatever, and because that's what those are all the popular videos in the rest of YouTube, right? And you want to
Yeah.
recreate that success. So but I feel like maybe our community is also different, and they can weed out the phonies.
I don't know. I'm not 100% about that. I mean, I know there are a bunch of like characters in game dev that do upload videos and they have huge success. But I mean, your videos are awesome, right? I like how you present your videos and your personality and how you project yourself and everything. But I think the people that are trying to be something other than what they actually are, they're going to find it hard. So it's less what the audience think and it's more what you can how you can be sustainable, right? How you can sustain being consistent, right? If you put in say 50% effort trying to be something you're not, and then 50% effort to make the video, it won't be as good. Whereas if you don't have to put in the 50% to be something you're not, you can put in 70, 80, 90, 100% into the video, and then it will be so much better than someone who's only putting 50-50. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's like probably for every person that you see that seems like this personality that's very successful. There's got to be thousands that are just failing because they're trying to recreate that personality and they're just not doing it as effectively.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend on making your videos?
Too much time. I think at one point, I think January, February time, that's when I was a bit like burnt out from game development. So I still worked on a couple of games, like a couple of the old Jam games that had bugs. I need to work on those. But I spent maybe 80% of my time working on videos where like you can see like that's when the rap video came out, that's when the showcase video came out, that's when the home tour or the setup tour video came out. See, there's a lot more humor in there. It's a lot funnier compared to like the type of videos I'm making now because I put in more effort into the videos because I didn't have to focus on game development, right?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but now because majority of the devlogs I'm doing now, 50% of it is game development, 50% of it is video. There's less humor in there, but there's more gameplay in there, and like
Yeah,
there's more technical information in there.
yeah,
So it's a bit of a balance. But yeah, so at the moment I try to maintain 50-50. So 50% editing, 50% game development. That doesn't include like watching other devlogs and stuff on YouTube, which I do spend a lot of time doing that as well. So just need to find time to do all of that extra stuff as well.
I mean that's also part of it, right? Like you
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
It's all part of what's required, even. Like, like if you didn't make YouTube videos, if you didn't spend 50% of your time, because I feel the same way. Like I want to be working on my game, and also, YouTube is fun in its own way for sure,
Yeah.
but it's also takes away from the time that you have for your game a lot, right? Like you really don't have an opportunity to just work on your game, and then you want to show it, but then just to make a 5-minute video will take you hours and hours and hours to make something that's both properly shows what you made, but then also makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
So that's, and then after that, after all these technical skills from Unity coding, whatever, tile placement, level design, whatever you want to call it, then you also have to be an active participant in the community. If you want people to also care about you, you also have to care about other people, which is something I learned much later after I was working on my technical skills. So that's definitely a big uphill battle, I would say. There's always something else that you're not doing that you should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I watched this one video by Jonas Tyrola. You know him, right?
Yeah. I think he's definitely, of all the big people, he's my favorite.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, he made a video. I remember watching it some time ago about, if you're gonna make games and be on YouTube, it's very helpful not only to like expanding your community, but it's also important as feedback to make changes to your game based on player feedback, viewer feedback, all of that.
Yeah.
Or if you go the opposite end and you're not on YouTube, you'll spend a hell of a lot more time on your game. You'll probably get it polished earlier, you probably get it ready and out earlier, but then you still need to go through the process of, play testing it, bug fixing it, and then taking people's feedback. So rather than doing it throughout the process where it's probably easier to make changes, you're going to be doing it at the end of the process. So then you're going to have to go back in, dig into your code, make loads of changes, which is called more bugs and stuff. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both, right?
Yeah.
So being on YouTube, trying to build your own audience, and then making changes to your game based on feedback, or not having any of that and then just working on the game solely and then dealing with that afterwards.
Yeah. If I like snap my fingers and have this massive audience that's going to be consistent and play all your games, Would you continue making YouTube videos?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's like
Probably. I mean, I enjoy them. I enjoy making videos because I like putting out stuff that people enjoy, right?
yeah,
So if I push out, if I release a game and then people play it and they enjoy it and they give me video like, you know what, awesome game, man, loved it, man. Oh, the puzzles were awesome, man, enjoyed it, man. You know, that's why I enjoy. I enjoy people playing the games. I enjoy people appreciating the games. Same with videos, right? When I push out videos and then someone will come back and say, that was hilarious, man. Loved it, man. Funny jokes, man. Loved the memes, man. Happy days. And I'm like, that's cool, man. And then that makes me want to make more videos,
yeah,
right? To just so to like I can't remember, just to entertain people, just to get their feedback, just to allow, just so that they can enjoy what I'm making, whether it be videos, whether it be games, or whatever else I might do at some point. So
yeah.
more than likely, I will probably continue to do it, even if I had a massive audience. I think once you have a massive audience, you've got no choice, right? At that point, it's like, you know, when you're small, it's like, okay, yeah, I am gonna do it. I want to grow the audience. But once you have the audience, it's like, nah, mate, you can't go now. You know, you're stuck. You have to continue to make videos.
Yeah, which I hope I never feel stuck, but I guess if I have a it's better to be stuck if I have a massive audience than what I currently
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
What's the best part about game dev, and then what's the worst part about game dev?
Specifically, I think programming is what I really enjoy doing the most. I like problem solving, you know,
Mm-hmm.
puzzle solving, you know, I like to see how things work and I try to get things to work. So that's my most enjoyable part of it.
And that's pretty new for you, right? Like, because I guess back 8 years ago, was that your first introduction to programming when you were learning C sharp, C plus plus, and
Yeah, it was. I didn't understand any of it then.
mm-hmm.
I understand it a lot more now. Like years ago, when I tried to like first use Unity or when I learned Objective C and stuff, I did not understand how things piece together. So it was very difficult for me. Probably at that point, it would have been my worst. Programming would have been my worst aspect of game development. But now that I know I have more knowledge and I know how C sharp works currently because I use Unity, right? So I know how to do what I want to do with the tools I have within the programming language. So I like, okay, so how do I mimic a specific mechanic from a specific game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then then the cogs start churning and it's like, okay, so if I add this here and I add this and I do this and I change it, okay, it works, but it's not quite right. All right, so let's change this and let's change it. Oh, now it works how it wants to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I enjoy doing because I see I see growth, right? I see my own knowledge growing, you know, learning new tools, what I can use, how I can do specific things I want to do. Whereas I think my worst subject would probably be art. I mean, my art is not bad, right?
Mm-hmm. It
But
looks good. I mean, your game looks good.
yeah, but the big problem with the art side is I don't see growth. I don't see progress. I don't see me drawing a character today and then a year later drawing like something 100 times better. No, like they'll look the same, or it might even go down, right?
Down.
So I know I'm not growing in that, probably because I'm not spending enough time on it, right? But I don't see any growth from doing that, or I don't see myself improving from doing that. It might be improving. I mean, I don't post any of the stuff. I mean, a couple of times I posted the stuff on my Discord that I drew, and sometimes people will come and be like, "Oh yeah, that looks nice." Okay, and then see you later, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then like games are like, okay, so yeah, the mechanic is this and this is this, and you know, I think art. I am not a big fan of doing the art. If I had if my best friend was like an artist, and we decided, let's make games together, I would be much happier that just, here's the art, just do this, and I will 100% focus on coding the game. And I really enjoy design as well, like
Design of
designing the game. Yeah.
like the UI.
Not the UI, just the overall design. So
Mm,
how the game will look overall. You give me the characters, you give me the fonts, you give me how you want it to be. I will arrange it in a way that is pleasing for people to see, to look,
mm.
to play. Level design as well, how to put specific things in specific areas for better, I don't know, puzzle solving and just for better experience. I mean, I've been playing games for what, 35 odd years. So like I have a lot of knowledge there.
Yeah, yeah. That's my favorite part, like level design. And art is actually something that I had walked into being very bad, but has over this past like year and a half, I've really buckled down. I said, okay, I'm just gonna work my way through it, and I still have a long way to go, but I feel like I'm figuring things out, and it's like been it's I've seen that progression. So yeah, so it's definitely I think you're not giving yourself enough credit that you'd be able to improve or go down even if if you spend time on it. But maybe it's not worth it because you don't need to do it if there's the option to not do it. And I think that's something that is also, especially for new people because they want to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that I still like the idea of like, oh, this whole thing was made by me. But now I'm starting to get away from that. Some of like I used to try to be like a Foley artist and try to record all the sounds and make all the sound effects with noises that I could make either from my mouth or things that are around me. But now I'm like, okay, these sound effects are just not good. So I better just start taking these off asset stores or buying them or find the free ones.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of an issue in the community where there are a lot of purists that were like, this game was made 100% by myself. I made the art, I made the music, I did the programming, the design, the sound effects. It is 100% me, right? And that's awesome, right? But then the amount of time you spent doing all of this, how many other games could you have made had you not done it? Obviously, some people would prefer just to do everything themselves, which is fine, 100%. But then say to the viewers that are watching this, right? You're not obliged to do everything yourself. If you struggle in a certain area, there are like resources out there that can help you. Free resources, royalty free resources that you can use. Not necessarily, say if you're going to publish a game that you're going to start charging money for, yeah, you should really do the stuff yourself or get someone to do it for you. But if you're just making like a jam game or something that you're going to make on like a weekend or within a week, you don't have to make everything or do everything yourself. You can use the assets as long as you pick the right assets and they fit within the aspect of the game, within the art style of the game.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I've sensed from a lot of people in the community. They're like, okay, I did everything myself and it took me 2 years to make. I was like, all right, cool, awesome stuff. But then, what if you didn't make the music yourself? What if you got the music from elsewhere? How long would that have taken?
Yeah. And I think for hobbyists that's okay, right? Like if they don't care, right, then about how long it'll take, then that's fine. But if you want to be someone that is actually going to be making money and wants to be making games more frequently, then yeah, that's definitely the path that you need to go on. Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time because we've been talking for a while, and I thought that I was going to have like this tightly edited video, but honestly, this conversation has been uh, really good, and you've had like a lot of very good points that we've talked about. So this might just come out as one giant long video.
Cool, man. That's fine, man.
Let me just Cool. I was recording. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
uh, no, not really. I mean, I do enjoy game development.
Hmm.
You know, I don't do it full time, but I do enjoy it. I do intend to pursue it for as
Hmm.
long as I can. Same with YouTube. Same with making videos. Probably other whatever aspects I can get involved in, like Twitch, right? So I started YouTube, right? There was a reason to start YouTube, but then Twitch, like, where did that come from? Like, I think a lot of what I'm doing now, because I'm a lot older in life as well, a lot of what I'm doing now, I'm doing to better myself, whether it be knowledge wise or personality wise, or, like the reason I'm on Twitch and I do stuff live was because when I made videos, they weren't live, they were heavily edited. And I couldn't really project myself in those videos like at that point. So I thought, you know what, why don't I start streaming as well? So people who do want to see what I'm like live, right? They can come and they can watch and they can hang out and we can do fun stuff and I can do game dev and whatever, right?
Yeah,
But they
I
can
was,
come and they can see. And then me, I can open up a bit more. I can be a bit more comfortable in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, just so I can be a bit more involved in this community and the industry and all of that. Because I know having a camera presence is important. I know that not stuttering or, that's very important. I still do it, but it's important to be more comfortable. So that's why I try to do as much as I can.
yeah, and actually, I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up your stream. So, how do you decide what you're gonna stream, and what kind of success have you seen with that? And has that translated at all to YouTube, or is that like a separate thing?
No, I don't think any of the Twitch streams have translated anything to YouTube, to be honest.
Hmm.
I think Twitch is a completely separate platform. And if the goal is to grow your YouTube channel, then just stream on YouTube, right? A bunch of
Hmm.
people have even told me, like, you've got a bunch of people subscribed on YouTube. Why don't you just stream on YouTube? I was like, "Well, Twitch is so much more fun, right?
What's the advantage of Twitch versus YouTube?
It's the add-ons and what you can do with it. So, I mean, in YouTube, a stream is like a video, right?
Hmm.
But it's live and people can see what you're doing, right? But on Twitch, yeah, it's still live, but then you can play games with your viewers. You can, like, if you're playing a specific game, there will be like an add-on for it so that people can make suggestions. People can make changes to, you know, your character or whatever within the game. What else can people do? There's alerts. So rather than people typing like adding emojis in the screen, they can just send like alerts where like there'll be like a massive emoji on the screen, or there'll be like a sound alert or a meme will play. It's a lot more fun
Yeah, I
than like
see.
YouTube, which is very,
It's
you
just
know,
the stream.
it's just a stream, and then yeah, you can do what you want in the chat, but then it's not going to impact the screen where the person is,
I see.
right?
Yeah, I see. Because
I
I
mean,
remember I was like, I was going through your like the uploaded streams that you had on Twitch, and I saw
yeah,
like you had the little characters walking around the bottom. Because I
yeah.
never use Twitch, but I had been thinking about starting streaming on YouTube. But I'm still afraid of that because sometimes during game dev, I might just get up and yell in frustration or something. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not sure I'm
mate.
ready for people to see that.
I mean, you can see like some of my streams. Like, I'll be doing stuff. I'll be trying to program something in. Like a couple of the issues, the major bug issues I had with base defense, I actually got help from people in chat
Mm.
on how to fix the bugs. They didn't care that I didn't have the knowledge. I never said to them that I'm a professional game dev, right? But
Hmm.
they like what my channel is and they like the game that I'm trying to make. And they were like, "Oh, you know what? Why don't you try this?" I try it, it doesn't work. Someone else will suggest something, I'll try it. Oh, it didn't work. Someone else, "Oh, okay, that did something. Cheers, mate." And then
Yeah, yeah.
you can get the work done. So it's not like I'm not trying to fake that I know everything. No one knows everything,
Right.
right? A typical game dev will do what they can, but then if something's broke, they're on Google straight away.
Oh
Everyone does
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That
that's
you know,
my
no
whole
one,
job. That's
yeah,
my
but like
professional work.
no one fakes that, right? No
Yeah.
one is like, oh, you know what? I have the whole syntax in my head. I don't need to reference anything. I don't need to do anything. But why? The resources are there. Use them.
Yeah.
If you need to use Google to learn something or to know how to fix a problem, that's what you do. I
Yeah.
think when I started game dev, I did start from YouTube. So I think when Unity first came out and Brackeys had just started years ago.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but when he started years ago, obviously he had a very like amateur channel in
Mm-hmm.
them days. But like I would watch it and I'd be like, okay, so we can do this, we can do that. Oh, okay, parallax, we can get this in, we can get this in, and get like a basic game in, which is good, which is awesome. But then I think I did some Udemy courses
Mm.
on Unity and C Sharp and stuff. And from there, you learn, the whole aspect, all aspects, not just this is how you program something. It's like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is how we do the programming side, the art side. This is how you do your research. What happens here, every step of the process, not just one aspect of the process.
Right.
So I think I did a couple of courses as well, and I think that's where I learned the workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think learning the workflow is very important because people outside of game dev, they have a different perception
Yeah.
to people within game dev.
Definitely.
So I think it's really important that people like, even like if you're going to go live and you're going to go on Twitch and you're going to do something, not to be afraid of failure or not to be afraid of not knowing something. Majority of people that watch, there are going to be people that are like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, I'm not going to watch you. But they're like minority, especially in the community, the YouTube Twitch community, right? Majority of them are like, you know what, you're awesome, I had no clue of what you're doing. Or other people will be like, oh, but why don't you change this and this? And they're watching you, less for the knowledge you have and more for just you and your
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah. I think
So the
that's the
knowledge,
scary part, though. You know.
yeah, but I think if you start like, luckily you can't see none of my early streams, right? They delete every 2 weeks, right? But you can't see none of that. But like when I first started, I was like very rigid, like, okay, someone's watching me, let me do some work. Okay. So it's like, but then over time you chill out, you relax, you're like, okay, cool, yeah, all right. So you know what? A couple of times I actually accidentally streamed as well.
Oh no,
And
that's
it
that's
doesn't,
another nightmare I'm having. You know.
but it happened at the worst time. So like I'm like midway through that rap video that we spoke about, right?
Yeah.
I was midway through rapping the video, right? And I wasn't even rapping in the rap voice. I was just testing the lyrics to make sure they rhymed and everything. And then I'm live, right? And I'm getting message after message on Discord. It's like, why are you live at 3 o'clock in the morning? What are you talking about? What are these lyrics? And then I'm like, I didn't even get the messages until everything finished. And then I'm like, am I live? Ooh, okay. So switched it off, apologized, and just left. Right. Obviously, there's settings to prevent that, which I didn't know about, which I didn't enable at the time, but they're there now, right?
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's. Yeah.
I'm not telling you horror stories. I'm just telling you, once you start, like anything, like YouTube, you start, be consistent. Twitch, you start, you can be consistent. It's the first step is the hardest.
Yeah. I like in my mind I know that, but it's also just shedding that extra step of vulnerability of, just kind of being yourself, because you're totally right about, no one knows everything. And I mean, yeah, half the time I'm working on my game, I'm just figuring it out and trial and error and getting it wrong and then trying to fix it and all of that. And yeah, that's not quite what I'm afraid of. What I'm afraid of is that, you put yourself out there and it's different from that edited version of you that you have on YouTube, and this kind of, this reputation that you're trying to preserve is going to be shattered. But
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
fine, because if you're being genuine in your videos, then your actual self that you put on the stream will be just it'll lure the people in that already liked your videos.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question then, right?
Hmm.
My edited videos are different to how I speak, right? Because I have issues with speaking, public speaking, speaking in general, right?
Hmm.
But when I edit videos, I can cut out the nonsense words and the gaps and the spaces and all of that, right? And
Yeah.
make it sound like a normal human being's talking. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas in the stream, I talk how I talk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Has watching my stream changed your perception of my personality?
No, not at all, honestly. And
No.
yeah, and it's you're definitely right about that. And really, what my fear comes from is right now when we're talking, I don't have a problem with getting my words out or getting my ideas out in a way that I'm comfortable with. I might stutter or whatever a little bit, but that's mostly fine. When I'm recording a video, I can't say two words without getting it wrong, and I think that's what I feel like it would be if I stream, even though it's probably not, right? And it's all about being comfortable. But when I'm recording a video, it looks like today I'm gonna be talking about. Today I'm gonna be talking about, okay, and it's just like I can't ever say it right, and then it's kind of like what you said. I just chopped to be the perfect sentence, and even then, it's not perfect. So,
I
but
think
you're
it.
right.
I think everyone's like that when it comes to editing. I mean, the more comfortable you are with, um, the more comfortable you are with how you speak or what you've done or how you've recorded things, and you just push it out there. That's fine. But then if you're not very comfortable with, say, your voice or how you're coming across on the camera or on the microphone, then you will always stop yourself midway.
Yeah,
So like I'll do the same. I'll be like midway through a sentence and then I'll either miss say something or I'll say a completely different word to what's written and then I'll just scrap that, go back to the beginning. Whereas other people that will make videos, the mistakes are in the video, and probably adds more to the video because it comes across as being more genuine because
yeah,
they've genuinely made a mistake and it's in the video and it gives them brownie points for doing that.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
people like me, I would never allow that, and then I don't get that, but then I make so many other mistakes. Why don't I just leave them in there?
yeah.
But then I can't do that.
Yeah, it's because you want, you already spend so much time on the video that it becomes like this precious thing to you, right? And it's like it becomes this little shiny gem that you create every week or every however long that you want to be nice and to be perfect, even though it's definitely not going to be perfect because nothing ever is. But yeah. Well, this has been a really awesome conversation, even if we weren't recording it. This is the first time I've ever actually spoken to another person who's kind of on a similar path as me. So
Yeah.
this has been a lot of fun. And
Oh, cool, man. I
yeah,
appreciate you inviting me, man.
yeah. I didn't even ask anybody else. So I really like your stuff, and so I'm glad you're the first person that I have on this show that is yet to be named.
Sorry, you cut out there. Sorry, what did
Yes,
you
yeah.
say?
No, I just said that. Yeah, I haven't asked anyone else to be on the show, and it's because I really like your content, and I'm really I'm glad that you're the first person that I was able to talk to.
Cheers, man. I really appreciate it. I do enjoy your videos. I mean, I already mentioned it. I do enjoy your videos and
Thanks.
your editing and stuff. I think you can go very far. I think it's just about time.
Hmm.
You just need to be patient. Just be consistent. Be patient. I mean, people tell me the same thing as well, right?
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh yeah, man, you got awesome stuff. The humor's there, man." And I'm like, "But it's not growing. The channel's not growing,
Yeah.
right? Like, just give it time. Give it time, and you'll get there." We're like, "I gave it time. It's not growing."
Yeah, I know. Because it's like, oh, yeah, here's a video that I worked on for 10 hours. Oh, thanks for the 2 new subscribers. And, it does. Like, you're at that point, every subscriber is just a dopamine rush. But, I think That's what everyone says, and every big YouTuber says it. So we just gotta trust it.
Yeah. I think the worst thing is when you lose subscribers. I think that has that happened to you yet?
Not recently, but it has happened, and it is quite like, no, I was working so hard for those.
I remember once, this was when I was reaching 100 subscribers, right? So I was so desperate to just hit that 100 mark, right? I didn't have a timeline. I didn't have, okay, I want to reach it by 3 months or anything, right? I just wanted to hit it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so I was at like 92. Okay. 93 2 days later. Okay. 95 a week after that. Ooh, okay. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. And then 1 week, it just drops to like 84.
Oh
Like,
no.
oh no.
Oh,
What is that?
That one hurts.
Yeah, so that was terrible. I contacted YouTube support. I was like, where did all my subscribers go?
What did you
know,
do?
what's going on? Why did you scare people away? But it happens. People come and go, or sometimes like some random people will subscribe, but then YouTube will cut them off because they're inactive users or whatever. I don't know. But they've always got an excuse. So I think it's important. Like what I try to do is I try to set like milestones, not milestones. Like I try to have a run rate, right, for my videos. So I try to get at least 15 subscribers every week, but not necessarily every week. So like if 1 week I'll get, I don't know, 12 subscribers, that's fine. I'm not going to pursue it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to wait until the end of the month. Then I'm going to decide, all right, so why did it not happen? Did something happen to the videos? Did they not enjoy the videos? Did I not market it enough? Did I not post it on Reddit enough? Did I post it at the wrong time? So whereas before I would analyze every single video, oh, what did I do wrong here? What did I change there? Why is the subscribers not happening? Now it's like every month, maybe every couple of months, maybe even longer, right? Then I'll look into it, like, okay, so something's changed. I'm not getting the people, I'm not getting the subscribers that I normally got. What do I need to change? Maybe I have to add more because subscribers grow, right?
Yeah.
So as they grow, it's not necessary that it will continue to grow at the same rate. Maybe you have to go out there. Maybe you have to do something else. Right. Like, I don't like Reddit, right? I've had a bad experience, but I still continuously post on Reddit now because I've seen that it helps in achieving my target of 15 subscribers per week, right? Same with Twitch. Not Twitch. Same with Twitter, right? I never posted on Twitter until like January this year. I never even had an account until January this year. But now I started posting because it has its own community. It has a bunch of game devs there that you can attract to your games, or you can even attract them to your channel if like they enjoy the content. So that's another avenue. So then it's just like expanding. But obviously, the more you expand, the more time it takes, and the less free time you have for game dev. And it's like, it's all about balance.
Yeah, I mean, promoting your stuff on social media is another one of these things that you have to do. It's as an indie dev of the long list of things. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks so much for being on and talking to me. It's really helpful. Everyone, go subscribe to Tauheed. And go play base defense when it's out, and go give him some help when to fix those bugs on his stream.
Yeah, that definitely let me know if there's any issues when the game's out. Play through it. Any feedback you have, let me know. Any issues with it, let me know. You can come on Discord or just message me on YouTube or whatever. Just let me know and I'll fix it. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
See you around. See you on the YouTube comments.
Yeah.